Hello and welcome to Faithful to the Traitors. We are here to discuss Series 3 of the Traitors UK.
Traitors UK?
Hello, how you doing, Governor?
Pork pie sausage roll!
Are you on Jack's Market? Covering while he's at the castle.
I'm tall, I can swim, and I like money. Now get me down from this cage. And he lost.
Bless him.
Bless him. Poor
Not
Jack.
murdered though. So as we know by the rules,
are you actually going to start this? You're going to be like, he could come back.
not this series, but I was going to say,
Series
as we know
4.
by the rules of the American
Kate.
Traitors, Kate's never been murdered.
Never been murdered.
Still keeps turning up.
She got banished, and then she got banished again.
She wasn't murdered.
Series 1 banished, Series 2 banished.
Hello everyone, I'm Ben.
Hello everyone, I'm Alex. I am faithful, and I sincerely hope that Jack had a nice safe trip home he's stuck in that cage now, isn't he? Forever.
That's it, yeah. That's his life.
That's his life.
Do you think Claudia's owl comes to see him though at night time?
Maybe she gives him a pair of gloves to fly off and give to Jack. So maybe Jack's got like a pair of red leatherette gloves. Fingerless gloves, yes. Because he'll need the fingerless gloves for the hot summers that are coming for the Scottish weather, which I've been guaranteed we're getting after having worked a day in the freezing -2 cold. But that's not for this podcast.
No. What about an update on our health?
You're more better than I am. I'm less
Your English
better.
isn't.
No, my English is
I'm
not.
more betterer.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I'm okay at the moment. So if I cough, then, well.
Well, you haven't coughed all day.
No, I haven't.
So, here's for hoping.
Fingers crossed.
Hello. If you'd like to get in touch with us and actually discuss things about the Traitors, other than just nonsense that we always begin the podcast with, then you can. And a lot of you have. And thank you so much. We're going to read out some of your emails today. faithfultothetraitors@gmail.com if you want to get in touch with us via email. You can find us on YouTube. This is also a video podcast. You can watch us on YouTube by searching Faithful to the Traitors podcast. Comment underneath the video, like, subscribe, and ring the bell so you never miss any future episodes. You can also find us on any of your favourite podcast apps. You can also watch us on Spotify as well. Bet you didn't know that, did you? Well, you do now. You can go to X @Traitors Podcast or Instagram and Threads @Faithful to the Traitors, where everything is factually true. Can you hear Charlie in the background? He is having an attack in the hallway right now.
Why does he always do this?
He gets so angry.
He gets upset.
He gets so upset that
He's
we're
basically
recording
the cat. Charlie produces Charlie. The cat is upset basically because we've had to watch the Traitors live at 9 p.m.
I know.
And it's now gone 10 p.m. and he is so upset that we've not gone to bed that he is now attacking his litter tray in the background. So
I just want to make it known that we go to bed and read. We don't just go to bed and sleep. We're not elderly just yet. I'm just saying. I want people to know.
However, and that's all you need to do in bed, everyone.
Just read. That's all we do.
I've seen all the thirst TikToks of Freddy.
I mean, the people who've been making these thirst TikToks must have been having a breakdown after tonight's episode with Freddy. Can I just say, if you want to help support the show, don't forget to tell your friends about us, share us on your social media, like, subscribe, follow, and also go to buymeacoffee.com/faithful, where you can give us a silver bar.
Yes, did you know?
No.
Silver bar wise, we had a silver bar bought for us by someone.
Thank you, someone.
No message, no name, no username.
This is your opportunity because we will read these out.
But we appreciate it.
We very much appreciate it. Thank you, someone.
If you do buy me a coffee, it's guaranteed read out.
Guaranteed comment will be read out. Be as offensive as you like. We'll read it.
So we had one from TikTok @CuddlyFunnel. I feel like they're trying to promote their own TikTok there. That's fine by me.
Happy by me.
They said sending cuddles from Switzerland.
Oh, hello.
Ooh.
Is that Switzerland? I'm trying to think.
That's in Switzerland.
Yes, Switzerland. That's it. That part
and we
of the
also
world.
have a silver bar from Buy Me a Coffee from Imogen.
Oh. What have you done? There you go. You're back.
Why did you turn my microphone off?
I didn't mean to turn it off. It's just that I can... Anyway,
They're meant to be like that. Shush.
Yes.
I'm trying to read the silver bar. This is the most important bit.
Carry on.
Silver bar from Imogen. Loving the podcast. I've been binging through Series 2 UK whilst waiting for the next UK Series 3 episode to come out. Out of interest, ... Which of the international series are actually worth watching?
New Zealand, both series.
Yeah, New Zealand is at the top of the list.
New Zealand, both series.
If you
100%.
like the UK.
Australia Series 1 was good.
Yeah.
Series 2 was to quote...
Dummies.
No. To quote that Richard, the guy who used to do Pointless.
Richard Osman.
Yes, series 2 is a franchise killer. And Canada's fine if you like a bit of Canada.
Canada's good if you can just binge watch it.
Yeah, Canada made the grave mistake of doing one episode a week, which is not very smart. America is fine as long as you don't mind not knowing who these celebrities are. Then you're fine. But 100%, if you can, well, you can get it. You can find it on BBC iPlayer if you live in the UK. Watch New Zealand series 1 and 2.
You've
series
got this.
1,
Are you ready?
You are legally blind.
That means nothing to anyone.
until you watch it. Honestly, New Zealand series 1 and 2 is just...
Oh, now you see, this is fascinating. Absolutely fascinating.
I mean, he's my favourite presenter as well. I don't mind.
/ least favourite.
It's least favourite.
It's a thin line. But yeah,
Anyway, there
New
you go.
Zealand Imogen, if you can watch New Zealand one, that's...
Absolutely. However,
best.
we've been watching the UK series, and despite everyone's best effort to try to get along after such a tense roundtable, unfortunately, no one really did. And do you know who I blame for this wholeheartedly? Joe. Joe is annoying and upsets me and really annoys me.
Yeah, out of the group of 3 boys,
The conspiracy bros, Jake,
conspiracy
Tyler, and
bros.
Joe.
it goes from least liked to most liked for me is Joe, Jake, and then Tyler. I feel Tyler I keep switching on. I keep flip-flopping on.
Tyler, I don't mind.
Call me
because
Keir Starmer.
Tyler, I don't mind because I feel like he's
Yeah,
kind
that's
of
what I mean.
just trying to be friendly with everyone, and he makes
He
the
just
mistake-
doesn't know.
Yeah, he makes the mistake of kind of guaranteeing his vote one way or another to lots of different groups of people, because there's not just the conspiracy bros anymore. There's the sisterhood, which was Mina, Livy, and Leanne, I believe.
No, Mina sisterhood is the Traitors sisterhood.
Oh, I'm
The witch,
sorry,
the
but there is
witches.
another sisterhood.
But there
as
is,
well.
yeah. It's Olivia, Leanne, and that's what Tyler is mixed in with. So he's with the conspiracy bros
And the sisterhood.
and the sisters.
He swings both ways. Yep, snap, snap, snap. So unfortunately for Tyler, he kind of breaks his allegiance from one way to another.
Oh, and Leon was also kind of there in the mix as well when he didn't know who to follow. Lee sees Leon as a king.
Well, this is another thing.
What-
Taylor said that he kind of, he listened to what Leon said and did what he said because he was hypnotized by his brown eyes.
Well,
But then Leon then said, like, you know, I never told you to do what I said. So again, so you see, that's the third one. So is Leon, Tyler. So Tyler's just going for everyone. It's just very strange.
but it made me laugh when I think like Dan in the back of the car was like, "So why are you doing that vote?" And he was like, "Because I don't know." And it's like, "Yep, that's Tyler's game plan in one sentence."
He has
there.
no idea what's going on. But at the breakfast table, unfortunately, someone was discovered dead. And to me,
Suspicious that Claudia keeps finding these dead bodies. No one
I
suspects
know,
her.
She's got the red gloves. Where did she get the dye to dye that leatherette red from the blood of her
The
victims?
blood of a faithful.
Yes.
Okay, so do you want to go into them quickly before
Yeah, go on.
What's your name and where do you come from?
Maya.
the real sisterhood is dead.
It is a shame that Maya got murdered purely
shame
based on
for
the fact
her.
that she was the sister of Armani, and so they just thought, sod it, let's just get rid of them both.
I don't want to toot my own horn, but I did say last week it's the best option for them because
Yeah,
it made it look like the only reason she was there is because Marnie was saving her.
fair.
That's a bit of a Canada Series 2 theory, and it stuck. So, right, she's 25, full-time mum, but also, as we know from before, she's an influencer because she has like 250,000 followers, so she's fine. I don't feel sorry
She'll
for her.
be all right. She'll be okay outside the castle.
Right, so Maya feels, this is a fact file, everyone, from the independent.co.uk, and yes, it does have grammatical errors. Maya feels that everyone was, quote, too emotional in the last series of The Traitors. Well, she saw something of herself in winner Harry. Quote, he didn't do too much, which I liked because you don't have to be the centre of attention, which was great. Everyone underestimated him, and I feel like a lot of people underestimate me as well. I feel like I've never been the brightest person, but I've always been creative and personable, and that's what it felt like with Harry.
Isn't it funny?
Didn't really learn much about Maya in that fact file. More about Harry.
Yes, she was more information about Harry. It's interesting though. The one thing she did say was that she wanted to be kind of like the quiet in the corner. No one kind of suspects her. You know, she kind of plays bumbles along the game a little bit like Harry. And then as soon as she became centre stage and she went against her own sister and people started like paying attention to her, she was outed, she was murdered. So to be fair, her gameplay failed because she went against what she went in to do.
Or did they both mess up in the carriage when they both said, we're going to tell everyone we're sisters?
See, this is the thing. Was it?
And I think it did.
Was it such a problem with everyone knowing they were sisters? Because if we didn't know they were sisters, would they still have gotten rid of Maya?
No. Although it would have been such an easy decision to get rid of her, I don't think.
Well, thank you to James Russell, who had emailed us, who said that, do you think if the traitors hadn't killed off Maya, that she would have been ideal recruitment material with suspicion likely off her? So do you think her
sister wasn't?
Yeah. Because that was one of the things that they did say when they at the breakfast table. A lot of them did look up and say, like, we wouldn't in a million years have believed Maya had been a traitor. So it's a bit of a shame that she's been murdered off this way. I know why the traitors did it. The traitors did it because it linked suspicion to Freddy, and they were very successful with doing that too, because Freddy got thrown into the fire pit, the lion's den.
I mean, if Maya thought series 2 was too emotional, then it's lucky she wasn't on episode 4, wasn't it? Because pretty much 80% of the cast were crying again, apart from Fauzia, who,
Well, Fauzia is already my favourite because she's just throwing out accusations, knowing absolutely nothing, basing it on absolutely zero.
I liked her bit around the round table though. When she
went for Kazim.
She didn't go for him. She did her hard mother. I'm going to do some tough loving for you to stand up for yourself. And I had the quote from Oprah in my head saying, "She's the mother I never had." And I was going to get it, but I didn't. But she was being mother around the table, and I liked it.
Which she did introduce herself, both her and Alexander, to be fair. Well, how did her and Alexander return, though? How was Fauzia and Alexander's return implemented into the show? Because we knew something was going to happen. They've been riding around on that cart for 3 days. God knows where
flashback, didn't we?
God knows where they've been putting their toilets.
It's like a 9 p.m. ITV drama.
Pulling
4 days earlier.
4 days earlier. It's a modern day Robin Hood, but they weren't.
They were swinging in cages.
Well, they eventually got led to cages. So that 4-day trip from the train yard into the forest. Didn't change their clothes. No, didn't change their clothes. Poor Jack. Didn't change their clothes. Strung up in a cage. And the point was that people had to find money, untie it from string and buried under
it and just fell somewhere.
Like a pinata. And then put it into these tubes. And for every 10, they got lowered, I don't know, a foot or something, and then eventually 2 would go.
It was a mean popularity contest.
Well, you say that, but I also would argue that it was based on what they gave out as their inspirational speeches, because Claudia gave them each 30 seconds to give their reasons for why people should choose them. Alexander, I've got skills, I'm a resolver of conflicts, and that will help during the game, especially around the round table. Tick. Fauzia,
sexy blue eyes. Didn't mention them, but didn't need to.
Wore denim and a dark jumper. Fauzia, I was the first off the train. I sacrificed my position. So
yeah, that's true.
I love that, by the way.
The mumbling group.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, respect her for that.
Yeah, mumble. Rhubarb. She was first off the train. Return that love by letting her go. First one down. That was so inspirational. It was true.
Mother.
Fauzia. Then Jack came along and at the top of his voice shouted, "I like swimming. I am tall. Money." Woo!
Well, the trouble is, I do feel like they gave 2 really good speeches, and then his was third, and it was like,
but
what can you say?
That's the best position to be in, because you can hear what the first person said.
Though.
Yeah, but then you can take what the first one and the second one said and merge it into one perfect speech. Jack in his mind.
God, it's the people from the train.
Pardon?
Oh my God, it's the people from the train.
The people.
Did
Did you know that I knew before they announced it on the show that Jack didn't win? Do you want to know how I worked out? Well, I was watching the episode.
Well, before
it actually happened on the episode.
Right.
Jack did a bit to camera and he said, the other northern guy, he put coins in my thing and he really helped save me, but I don't know his name. And I thought, you don't know his name. That means you didn't go to the castle and didn't get a chance to know him.
I mean, that's...
Well, my theory was correct in my head because then he
You
didn't
were
win.
correct, absolutely. But then at the same time, he could have been speaking about at that time. He didn't know the person's name.
No, he's not clever
But
enough
do you
to
know who
do
that person was who put the coins in his tube? Fellow Yorkshireman?
Dan.
No,
Joe.
Joe.
I thought it was Dan.
No,
that
it was
did
Joe, the fellow
Okay.
Yorkshireman, Joe.
I love Joe. He's my favourite.
You see, Joe was pretty much the only one going for Jack, which is again a losing cause. Joe
getting the
really is
villain
having
edit.
a very bad game. To be
Is it
fair.
a villain edit or is it just not good game?
I think Joe's having a bad game. I think Joe's listening to other people, getting himself confused and like wandering a little bit. His mind's wandering a little bit too much, and gets really, really like defensive whenever anyone kind of questions him in any formal way. And he really, really dislikes the way that Dan like just asks him a question, like any question. Dan could ask him, "What does he want for breakfast?" And he'd be like, "What do you mean? What do I want for breakfast?"
Don't take it so seriously.
Don't be so condescending.
Mash.
Yes, I'm Joe. And so, which has made me love Dan more. I love Dan now because I love the way that Dan knows that he's winding Joe up,
Yeah,
and
and
he's
kind of does on
carrying
purpose,
on with
yeah.
it. Like that roll of the eyes in tonight's episode was just perfect. Dan did what, for me, the world wanted to do.
Two bitches going at it.
Oh yeah, no.
Who'd
Maybe
wanna
it's
watch that?
Maybe there's a sexual tension between Dan and Joe.
Maybe.
Who knows? We've
I
had
just
this
looked up-
before. We've had this before in the Traitors, and I feel like Dan and Joe are just going to keep voting for one another. We thought it was going to be Jake and Linda who were going to be doing that throughout the show. They've
Although
kind of-
you said that last week and like loads of comments on YouTube were like, that didn't happen.
No, I know, exactly. That's what I said. So I made a mistake. Jake and Linda have drifted away. They've gone different paths. But Dan and Joe, there's a tension there, and I feel it's sexy.
Of course.
Anyway, sorry to interrupt. Carry on.
I was just saying, I was just looking up Joe's fact file ahead of time because I wanted to know what his job was, English teacher. So that doesn't really explain why he's acting like the way he is.
Teachers. There's a... No, I'm not going to say anything about teachers. I love teachers. I think teachers are great people.
But shall we learn a bit about Jack? Because he is gone and we only saw him for like 5
I don't need to
seconds.
know anymore. He can swim. He's tall. Money.
Well, yeah,
That's
probably-
all I need to know about
That's
Jack.
what the thing says, actually.
Yes, so it does. I can swim. I'm tall. Money.
I can get money because I'm tall. Right, so he's a market trader and landscaper. He's 25 years old. Jack is no stranger to secrecy as he moved to London and trained as an actor without telling many of his family.
Not all. Many.
Quote, I think I can kind of play it a little bit dumb. Maybe act like the ditzy gardener and landscaper who secretly has his own agenda and hopefully a couple of acting skills to back that up.
I mean, I've
Was
got no
he
problem.
acting? I don't feel he was.
I
feel
don't
that
think he was
him.
either. He's one of those
He's
guys.
Danny Dyer type of actor, as in I play Danny
Dyer. Yes.
That's what Jack is.
Jack
I'm
played-
an actor. I'm playing the ditzy. Although I've never heard of a ditzy gardener and landscaper before. Normally the landscapers and gardeners are the sexy ones, aren't they?
I mean, my paths don't cross very often with landscapers or gardeners, so I couldn't really say that they are ditzy or neither.
No, the ones I hire aren't ditzy,
Aren't they?
but they are sexy.
When do you hire them? When I'm at work?
Yeah. So there you go. That's all you need to know about our Jack. So
Poor Jack.
he didn't get murdered, so I do wonder if he may be asked back next series to be a Series 4 contestant, maybe.
I would like Jack to return with Yin, despite Yin having been murdered. Because the more I learn about Yin, like there's more about Yin now she's not on the show than her being on the show.
She can forge a career in the UK.
Oh, she could easily
TV.
forge a career right now.
She's going to do it. I trust.
She's just a
trust
star.
in Yin.
Yin is amazing.
Trust. So yeah, the game ended. The people who came back to the game also had a shield which they could give to
Yes.
someone after the round table, and they also couldn't be murdered or banished or vote.
Yeah,
They
weren't
were
allowed
meant to
vote.
observe basically, but
Fauzia wasn't going
was like,
to. Fauzia wasn't going in there to observe. Fauzia was going there to give an opinion.
I observe with words.
What do you mean, Kazim? Why don't you fight for your cause? Because I'm tired and I just don't think I can carry on.
You had this for 5 days.
Come on, Fauzia. No, Fauzia, I love Fauzia. I absolutely adore her. Like the moment she started piping up at the round table, and like
I liked
giving an
good.
opinion based on absolutely nothing. I just loved her for
Sometimes
that.
that's the best opinions, though, when you walk into a group like that.
Again, like Kate in series 2 of The Traitors,
God.
having someone from the outside looking in is sometimes very useful for spotting those traitors.
If that person gives a crap about what they're doing on the show, or they're just there for the paycheck.
Especially when you drop a note, coincidentally, next to your chair.
Out your miniskirt.
With all the information about all the traitors in it.
Right, we're not doing the American Traitors yet, okay? So calm that.
Just so you guys know, we will be doing series 3 of the American Traitors. So once UK series is up, keep listening and
We'll be
watching us.
binging,
And we'll be
yes.
binging the second series of the American one.
Third series.
Third series of the American one. And we're on good authority that there might be another return.
2 returns. Headband woman, can't remember her name. Anyway, that's a little teaser for
So
in 4
don't forget
weeks'
to subscribe, like, and ring the bell and follow us, because you'll get the third series of the American Traitors, and we might even be doing the Irish series of the Traitors.
Oh yeah, when it's out. Don't even know if it's filmed yet. So this is where all the gameplay started happening when they got back from the game, because they were like, the people on the list were Anna, who we hadn't seen yet until this episode.
Which,
every week I'm like, who is this woman?
I know, where'd she come from?
And now she's talking, she's like Irish. It's like, oh, okay.
I thought she was Welsh, but then I remembered it wasn't. It was Ellen who was Welsh, wasn't she? And Charlotte,
Yes,
of course.
Charlotte's
Sorry, I forget.
Welsh.
And Charlotte, who's also Welsh.
So she's for somehow just come out of nowhere. Everyone's suspecting her. Freddy was the other one, and Kaz was just.
Kaz is just a rollover from the last episode, and potentially the episode before that as well. But people are really steamrolling him a little.
So you
bit.
had the Olivia, Leanne, Tyler were all like, "We're doing Freddy. Don't change our minds. This is it." That was Tyler in the morning. Tyler at dinner time was like, "Freddy, let's go talk to you." And then Freddy and Tyler were talking, and Dan was there, and Dan also doesn't think that Kaz is a traitor, so he was trying to talk him away from that. Freddy was crying. Leanne was such a trooper.
Yeah, but who was listening in on their conversation? It was Freddie, Dan, Tyler, and Joe, and they were all having a conversation. Joe was like giving some inane thought. Dan quite rightly slammed him down and called him an idiot, rolled his eyes, while
There's no evidence.
Tyler and Freddie were having a real, actually, to be fair, a conversation about
Swayed Tyler's vote.
yes,
Basically.
about why he had suspicions on Freddie, and Freddie then gave a good reason for why he felt like his suspicions were
He was
incorrect.
right. He said the traitors are basically killed off Maya because it makes you think I'm a traitor, but I'm not stupid. If I was a traitor, I wouldn't kill Maya because then that puts the blame, blah, blah, blah. Double.
And then Joe was like, "How can we believe you?" And Dan was like, "Shut up, Joe." And I was like, "Yeah."
Yeah, and while this was happening, we had Olivia listening, Anna
Yes.
listening, and Leanne were all listening in. And that's when they were like, he's changing his vote from Freddie, how dare he?
And Anna heard Tyler say that too. Anna heard Tyler say, like, I'm very suspicious of Anna. And Anna was like, "Where's this come from?" Well, I'll tell you where it came from. Linda, because Linda, brilliantly, again, BAFTA award winning, she needs to go to Hollywood after this and get that Oscar, because she accused Anna of faking not knowing how to tie a boat in
No,
the
that
last
was Lisa,
task.
not Linda.
I'm sorry, you're correct. It was Lisa.
Although
who
Linda
said
did
that.
pipe up at the round table and say, yes.
I
that's
agree.
it.
Yes, I agree with that. Yeah, rhubarb.
What's a
rhubarb.
boat? Yeah, Lisa said she like jumped off and didn't
She
tie
jumped
it
off,
up.
started to tie it up, then realised what she was doing,
Ran back the other
untied
way.
it, ran off, came back, and then tied it onto something which she shouldn't have tied it onto. I mean, a lot happened. I feel like a lot happened that we didn't see, but
We did
Lisa
see,
saw it.
but Lisa, Lisa took
saw
it personally because she was still on the boat.
Well, she felt like Anna was deliberately sabotaging so no one could get the shield. I mean, people have been accused for less than that. That's quite a big accusation for Anna, to be fair. That's going to be a hard one to shake
I mean,
off.
the 3 people accused around the round table all ended their arguments with, well, there's not really much I can say, just vote me off, but I am a faithful, but it'll be your fault. All 3 of them said that in the end.
Yes, and I was a bit disappointed with that because I felt like that.
Fauzia was too.
If you can, Fauzia was really on it.
You're not putting up much of a fight.
Well, then do something about it.
I've been in a carriage for 4 fucking days.
I've been in a bloody cage. I've had to do a lot of thinking, but it's not about things about this game. No, right, look. If you are accused of being a traitor, there has been many an occasion where someone has talked themselves out of it. And it is possible. It may feel impossible, but it is very possible to convince a group of your peers around a table that you are not a traitor.
Can you
If you've-
convince Joe, though?
If you've got... No. If you've got enough evidence that can sway it, and you need someone else to kind of
Piper.
throw the blame against, but not the person who blames you. As easy.
Linda's done that twice. She's still there.
Well, yes, but that's because everyone loves Linda. I think everyone's got a soft spot.
I think you're a traitor. Well, I think you're a traitor now.
But as convenient and as easy as it would feel, like just to kind of like if Joe threw an accusation at me, my accusation would then be thrown back at Joe. It's so obvious, and that's not going to win you people and influence people your way. You need to have a good convincing argument. If you know
Linda did that too to Joe. She did it to Jake and to Joe. She's still alive.
Well, Jake started with Linda, to be fair. So I'm 100% with her on that one. So go for her. Linda should go for Jake. But yes, you're right. Linda, it has happened to Linda twice. But I think Linda's got the...
She's an anomaly, so we don't count.
Yeah, she
can do it.
She's got the kind of like... The nanny card, you know what I mean? Like she's the kind of like everyone's looking after her a little bit, so she's kind of got a little bit. I don't want to say it, but she's got a bit of an easier ride. Maybe I'm being unfair because there's a lot of things that people aren't spotting about Linda, like her very point. I can't believe it.
Who's going to come in next? She did another one today, didn't she?
She did one at the round table when Kazim left, and she went, I knew it. I knew it wasn't Kazim. And it's just like, I love Linda so much, but it's so obvious. And why aren't they seeing this? Other than Jake, of course. But no, my point is that if you know you're going to the round table and you're going to have an accusation thrown at you, you know full well, then you need to go there with notes and receipts ready to fight back.
You need to have a name that's on your list and you're going to have to use that name.
And with evidence. Must show evidence. Must do better.
I mean, evidence of this show is a very loose term of evidence, but we'll be fine.
Well, it's
AKA
funny.
you try to push our boat away.
Well, it's funny you should say that because Cuddly Funnel, who I think you mentioned earlier,
bought us a silver bar.
They also sent us an email, so they get super.
They got 2 mentions. Go.
Yes, well they said I've long held the belief that missions are too focused on merely increasing the prize pot, but the tweaks this year provided more need for traitors to influence the outcome, which increases the risk of exposure and creates more tension between the contestants. So, do you think that despite us kind of saying like I don't like the way that like people are going off for themselves, but it's a bit. The game seems to sway a bit more further toward the traitors rather than the faithful. Do you think it's fair that there should be more?
No, I like this because it does give the faithful more chance because the faithful can go during a banishment and they can be murdered. Traitors can't be murdered, so they do have an advantage. So I like this how they've done this on the game, but it has made them all a bit mean, but.
I don't think that has made them mean, actually, because I think the banishment
not mean,
of Kazim,
but not like a close family.
Well, the banishment of Kazim, I feel like has kind of cemented. I felt like we went back to the British way, as we put it,
until Dan and Joe started.
Well,
talking to each other.
no. It was when Joe. Then right, don't get me started on this.
Right,
so
don't get
Kazim,
too personal, but let's go.
I'm not going to get personal, but Kazim left. He did that kind of like the. Bait and switch. So he said, like, you knew by my glint in my eye that I'm actually a faithful. And so everyone was like, oh, no, well done, Kazim. You played a good game.
Oh, I knew it.
Yeah, Linda was like, I just knew it. But Joe said, well, I did feel bad, but then I felt less bad because he bluffed his way around
made
it.
Fun of me, basically.
Yeah, basically. And it's like, oh, shut up, Joe. God's sake, Joe. Just winding it. Just relax, mate. All right. Just like not everything is about you. The world is. You are not the nucleus.
Well, this is when everyone was crying as well. So they all just got because Olivia was like, I need to just get out of this room. Freddy was crying. Anna was crying. Joe was angry and annoyed. Linda was crying. So all the emotions were just.
Mina was
going
crying.
Off. Mina, she was crying. Even
Mina's
she's
crying
a traitor. She loves murder.
Yeah, she does love murder.
Yeah, this is all very emotional, and they're all crying and shouting and yelling, and they had to get out of the room. Just having the 2 new people that you see, the chairs are closer together, sets them off.
Well, that's it. They've gone back to being very close to one another. It was a very close vote as well, wasn't it? It was 7 for Kaz, 5 for Anna, 4 for Freddy, and for a long time, the person who was going to be banished kept overtaking one another. At one point, I really thought it was going to be Freddy. Then Kaz's vote started totting
Yeah,
up. We started
that's
getting
him.
to the conspiracy bros, and then they started going up, and then it went higher and higher and higher. But I think it's a shame for Kaz. I do feel like that he was right to say to Fauzia that, you know, he's trying to survive, but he's kind of given up trying because after 3 roundtables of it, what's the point? Because people aren't listening to him anymore.
Try walking in my shoes, Amy. That's what you should have said to her. That's another TikTok noise. Anyway, right.
Yes.
Do you want to learn a bit about our Kaz?
I do, because I love him.
We learned about him, though. He's a family man. And all he cares about is that he knows that his kids are watching and they're going to know that he was faithful and he didn't lie.
And accused of being a murderous doctor.
Well, there is that, but we don't like to mention
You
it.
don't like to mention it.
33 years old. While he might not have a good poker face, Kaz has learnt to use this to his advantage. Quote, "People know that I'm quite overexpressive and I make it very clear that I am, so I tend to play on that. For example, in a card game, if I get a good hand, I've learned just to play it cool. Everyone knows that I'm so expressive that they think they've jumped onto that and that I've given my whole game away."
Oh, right. So he likes people to think that...
He's a traitor, but he's not.
Yeah. So he's
May
kind of-
work for cards,
Nah.
double bluff, not quite so much on the traitors.
Has anyone... I'm trying to think. Has anyone... people have said they've been recruited by the traitors, but said they refused it. Has
Then
anyone
got
ever
voted
said
off.
they were a traitor, but not been a traitor?
No, you're not
Think-
allowed to admit you're a traitor. If you are a traitor, you're not allowed. No one's allowed to say
Yeah, but
I'm a
what-
traitor.
Yeah, but if you're a traitor, you're not allowed to say it. But if you're not a traitor,
Why would you do that?
that's what I mean.
You could make
that
an
be-
alliance. You say I'm a traitor, but let's just go to the end game together,
People
and I'll
have-
recruit you at the end.
People have gone to other traitors and said to them, like, no. People have gone to other traitors and said, like, I know you're a traitor, but I want to survive in the game with you. So can we build an alliance?
I remember that
That's-
storyline
Yeah. Well,
from Canada. That one.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
So you know, it can happen that people build a trust knowingly build a trust
Yeah, but
with a traitor.
You can't say I'm a traitor if you're not a traitor. You're not allowed to say it. Those are words
I
are
just
not allowed
wonder.
to be uttered.
I just genuinely wonder if that's like a gameplay that
Although
someone
one of
could
the
take. It's a
traitors-
ridiculous one.
One
but
of the
still.
traitors said it in series 1 of the UK, but they didn't show it on camera. But she accidentally said when we were in the turret, and she said I was a traitor, and that's why they voted her out. But they didn't show it on TV. But she told them all by accident.
Oh really? Oh dear, that's a shame. Series 1 was an anomaly if you think about it, because series 2 and 3 are now completely. Because if you think about it, the way that the traitors got discovered at the end game was pretty much because the guy who got voted out last basically told them. He's like, oh, by the way, he's a traitor, and then he was like, oh no, well done. And there's no going back after that.
Right, so we had 2 shields to give out.
Yes. Alexander was given the advice that he
he's very
should.
intelligent.
Yes, and this was by Dan as well. We love Dan. Dan's a smart lad. Dan said that if you don't tell anyone who you've given the trait, you say it's someone in the carriage, then it's either me, that being Dan, Tyler, or Mina.
Yes.
Not knowing that Mina's a traitor. To guess who got the shield.
Doesn't matter though, because he said it to all 3 of them. So all 3 of them knew the plan. So
I wasn't
they
sure
knew.
Mina did know the plan, because I thought this might have been Mina's undoing, and I was a bit worried. I was a bit panicked because I thought Mina didn't know the plan, and imagine if she then tried
Killed,
to vote Tyler, and then that would have been like, uh-oh. But it actually ended up being a moot point anyway, because Leanne got the second shield from Fauzia.
Yeah, in secret, so they didn't know who that was.
So they didn't know who that was either. Because that's the thing, if you think about it. So they kind of, because she did it in secret, then any of them could have had the shield. So that kind of pushed the remaining 2 traitors' decision to then recruit,
which is the
rather than
perfect
murder.
time to recruit, because there's a hidden shield. So in the morning, no one's murdered. They can say, "Oh, they must have went for one of us because of Dan's really good game idea plan," and they'll be like, "Yeah, that's what's happened. They've tried to murder and they hit a shield."
But then if this is the thing, this is another thing that can get you into trouble. If you go to the breakfast table and then start saying, I had a shield, people then immediately start then saying, oh, that's suspicious. How weird that no one got murdered and you've got a shield. Ooh, that must mean you're a traitor. And it's like, So again, do you tell people you've had a shield? Do you tell people you've been up for recruitment? Even if you accept it, do you say it? That's what I mean. Can you? You're not allowed to say you're a traitor, but you could say they tried to recruit me and I said no.
Yeah, you're allowed to say that.
Well, there you go. As a traitor.
But then people...
That's a double bluff.
yeah, maybe. Yeah. I don't know if that's against the rules. I mean, what I would do if I was these two traitors,
Yes.
I would purposely murder Leanne. No, they didn't know Leanne had it, did they? Can Mina murder herself because she has a shield, but she's a traitor? She can't, can she?
Didn't that happen in... I'm sure that happened, didn't it?
That's what I would have done. I would have done a murder, or purposely hit a shield, so people think they've recruited a traitor, but you haven't actually recruited one, and then that will set everything off again.
I'm not sure. I don't think even when it's not been a traitor who had a shield and they've known who had the they knew, but the person who had the shield didn't know that they knew. They didn't know that they knew that you knew that they knew. That they've never gone for someone who has a shield.
No,
that would again
that would be good, though, wouldn't
interesting gameplay. That would be if you knew, but the person who had the shield didn't know you knew, and so you deliberately went for them.
Yeah, so no one got murdered, but you also didn't recruit. People would think you recruited, then their numbers of how many traitors will be up will be all...
That's a tactical murder.
You see.
Murder.
That's what I would have done, but they didn't do that. They decided to recruit. So they're picking between Freddy, who is now, he's had his shower, he's done his sit-ups.
Yes.
Now he's doing his skincare. So he's been very busy with his
lucky you want
things to do. And what's it going to be next week?
His feet, his toenails. You're going to be clipping his... Well, if he makes it next week.
Yeah, but what's he going to keep doing in his hotel room?
Yep.
Who else was the...
Anna. They were going to have Anna. Basically, they've gone for Freddy and Anna because they're both in the firing line. So they're just like... they're going to get banished anyway. So let's get rid of them. They're basically putting them... They're throwing them under the bus on purpose. They're doing it on purpose. Yeah, the Linda and that's what I was
if they accept.
I was going to say that yes. Well, and the last one was Fauzia because they think she would be an easy recruit.
That is the best deal. I feel that's the best. Out of those two they've choose, they should pick her because she's new to the game.
Yes,
part of the sisterhood, and she's already pushed herself as being quite faithfully round the table. So.
Well, I put a vote out on our X at Traitors Podcast.
X.
Yeah. And I know, I feel dirty even saying it. And 63% said that they should try to seduce Fauzia. Mm-hmm. Second was Freddy with 24% and Anna with 13% was last. So Fauzia seems to be the crowd favourite for who should be seduced.
I always think it's silly to seduce when there's two traitors. You should only seduce when there's one traitor left because they have to accept it. At the moment, they can still say no.
But this is the point for me because I think that Linda and Mina are actually an incredibly strong bond. I'm really seeing a good, strong bond. There's no bits to camera, it's like Vox, face to camera parts.
Yeah, like where they're pretending to be friends.
Yeah, where they're saying stuff about each other behind each other's backs. Linda and Mina, I think, are genuinely might be two that will keep each other to the end to win.
I'd like to see that. It's been a long time coming for traitors to actually
work together.
The traitors need to realise you have to work together if you want to win. At least two of you. You have to.
But I worry that they're going to do the Traitor's Choice. That's the only thing I worry about.
Traitor's Dilemma, you mean?
Oh, the Traitor's Dilemma. And then the lead Mina and Linda. That. I know. Well, that's a series you shouldn't watch. But yes, Fauzia to go in. I think Fauzia is going to be difficult, though, to shake off. If they're going to bring Fauzia in, then they're planning to do it as a three-way sisterhood. The Witches of Traitor's Tower.
And they keep saying sisterhood, so I'm thinking they're going to only recruit female traitors, do you think? So Freddy's not even in the mix.
No, I think Freddy would be in the mix, but to have him banished they can throw him. He's not in the mix with. I think Freddy and Anna are only in the mix to be banished as traitors. I think Fauzia could be brought in as a potential strong third player in their game. So
it's such a risk because they can say no at this point. So it's just like. You should. Plus, you've got two more in the game. You need to murder as much as you can. So I feel they've done the wrong choice here. They should have murdered. Because there's two new people in there. The person who they recruit can say no. Then no one's murdered. I think it's a mistake.
I don't think it's a mistake because I think it's a very tricky thing to do with them not knowing who had the shield. So they would have had to just gone with their gut and hoped that he made the right decision. And the other thing is, Mina said she wants to split up groups, but who do you get rid of?
Jake.
Do you reckon?
Jake or Tyler or
Tyler would be the strongest
Olivia,
one for me.
One of those four.
No, I don't think they'd go. I genuinely think they would go for
Joe.
Tyler. No, the thing is, there's us watching the show and see the 3-act play of Joe.
I don't think Joe has much influence, actually.
Joe has very little influence in the game, and I think that's another thing that's upsetting Joe. I think it's the fact that he gets talked down by Dan. His opinion doesn't get listened to by anyone else,
and it's questioned a lot. Yeah.
And he's questioned a lot. And I feel like Joe feels like he's being ignored, and I don't think Joe likes that very much, which is why he keeps having his little snips.
I mean, Leon might be one to watch out for, because Tyler said that he's like king, you listen to anything he says. So maybe
but that's
he's
Tyler.
like...
That's only Tyler, because I think Tyler's desperately trying to hook onto someone. Hence why he keeps going from one group to another and agreeing with what they keep coming up with opinions. Hence why he had that breakdown in the car to the game. He was like, I don't know. And I feel like Tyler is desperately trying to find a group to stick with, but he can't.
Well, he's got a
his
group.
path.
He wants too many groups. He wants to be the most popular one. That's his trouble.
I have to say that the Conspiracy Bros were very quiet this episode. Very quiet indeed. They seem to have gone off their own way. And I think with Kazim now kind of being found out as being a faithful,
that's their conspiracy gone.
That's them done. Unless they all go for Linda, and if God help them if they go for Linda, because I swear.
Well, yeah, that'll be the next one. Right. So we've got half a day-ish to get in touch with us about what you think is going to happen, who's going to be recruited, etc., etc.
I had loads of emails, and I'm really sorry if we didn't read your emails out. Honestly, we love reading your emails, and we try to read out as many as we can. We'd like to intertwine them with actually the conversation we're having. So if they don't get read out, we apologise. But
also,
thank you.
I forgot to say, we've got this. Can you interpretate this, please? Because I couldn't understand what he was
Try
saying.
to interpretate what you interpret.
Translate.
Thank
this. This is what people can email us in with, okay? This was Freddy after the banishment with our old Linda, arm round his shoulder. What was he saying?
Bless you.
Once more.
Go on.
Bless you.
There you go. So what was Freddy saying?
What was Freddy
saying? We shall read out at the top of the show if anyone has sent some suggestions. What was Freddy saying?
Translate for us and let us know what you think.
faithfultothetraitors@gmail.com. If you're watching us on YouTube, you can comment underneath the video by finding us searching Faithful to the Traitors podcast. As I say, comment underneath the video, like, subscribe, ring the bell, do all that guffing. You can find us on X @Traitors Podcast, on Instagram and Threads @Faithful to the Traitors, where we also post our episodes on our WhatsApp group, where the link will be in our show notes. Or you can go to buymeacoffee.com/faithful. Don't forget, we try to release the episode every morning after the episode. So just if you subscribe and follow us, then you'll never miss an episode after the Traitors broadcast on the BBC. What is there anything else for me to say? You seem to be sitting there like I
don't
should
know.
say something. And do you ride a bike to work?
No. Translate Freddy's thing. So there you go. So until tomorrow then, if you're listening to this live or whenever you're listening to it, remember to stay faithful.